Welcome to Horror Movies with TNA. Each episode, we're going to pick a film, talk about it, and rate it. Word of warning, there will be spoilers. This week, we're talking about
78's The Evil. If ghosts, demons and dodgy facial hair are your jam, then this little gem is for you. It's one hell of a house. They really should do some land service before they build these places.
Try now. Try speaking nicely.
Hello. Can I be about this distance, or do I need to be about here? Here, or here, here, or here, here, or here.
Well,
here,
there if you're going to talk.
Here,
yeah, because when you're further away, talk louder, so it's kind of the same. I can't believe it! You didn't say it.
Well, I did. When you reminded me, I remember, but fucking hell, my memory's going, isn't it?
Life is often simply
a
series of
anyway.
You showed me your sketches. Maybe we should release.
Look at it. I was really happy
Maybe
with that.
we should get them put on a T-shirt or release the photos.
I mean, we've done like his little bags under his because he had like
weird
happy bags. I stopped it. I went.
Yeah, no, I paused it, but I'll be honest. I didn't understand some bits. I didn't understand that. I'm not going to. We'll talk about that because there was a bit when I watched it today where I was laughing my head off. Just the way.
I thought it was. Yeah.
I'm
going to say it straight away. I thought it was Ace.
You can reveal your feelings straight away. You see, yeah, you can do it.
I picked it at random, but I had seen the trailer years ago, thinking, "Oh, that looks scary," but it's good. The trailer makes it look really scary.
I always say interestingly. I am going to say it here, and I mean it genuinely. This is interesting. The song, Iron Maiden song, "The Evil That Men Do." You know the one, "The Evil That Men Do."
Is that how it sounds?
Yeah.
The evil that men do.
When I was looking at the DVD cover of The Evil, it's got Eddie, the Iron Maiden face on the cover.
Some of them. Yeah. The one I remember is the crypt.
So do you think Iron Maiden based their song on this movie?
This was 78, so no.
Well, I know they've been Iron Maiden did their song afterward.
Did they?
Well, I don't think Iron Maiden were...
yeah, then. I don't.
Well, don't just say it to fob me off. I think...
So you're recording now, then?
This is dynamite. Today, we are talking about Gus Triconis' 1978 masterpiece.
You're pronouncing that right?
Gus Triconis' 1978 masterpiece, The Evil. What do you think?
I'd agree with that.
It's worth mentioning some of his other films. I've not seen any of them, but the ones that particularly stuck in my mind were obviously... What was the one you mentioned?
1981, 3 years later, Take This Job and Shove It!
Take This Job and Shove It. He also did Supercock, and it was described as this, the fun and funky Dance of the Dwarfs. They were the only ones I picked out. I've not seen any of them. I don't know if any of them
I vaguely remember Take This Job and Shove It. I think it was based on a song, I believe. Country and Western song.
Oh.
Or it could have been the other way around. I doubt it, though.
He's a director that was described, when I read it, as very efficient and underrated. So there you go. That may be very efficient.
I don't know about efficient. You don't really want that. Well, I don't know. It depends what you're doing. You don't want to say you efficiently shagged me, do you? You want. Well, then again, you don't want to say you're underrated.
Yeah, you don't really want to say your shagging's underrated as well, do you? Really?
It is, though.
Well,
and you know it.
It stars, obviously, Mr. Crenna, Richard Crenna of the Rambo franchise, starring as C.J. Arnold. The only other one I found that was interesting was Andrew Preen, who plays Prof. Raymond. He was in a few decent films.
Yes, I put him as well.
Yes, he's quite a tall professor.
Yeah, and slightly. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I don't know whether he's still alive.
He might be terribly offended by this.
Effeminate, but
really,
yeah, but not camp. But you know what I mean.
I thought he was terribly masculine.
Terribly.
He was also in The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the '76, not the the later one, the original one. Crypt of the Living Dead, which I've never seen, and he was also in one of the Kolchak, the Night Stalker films as well.
He's been in quite a lot of programmes and that, so you'd know him if you saw him. And unfortunately, we can't show him. We could put a picture on Twitter. Oh no, I can't be asked.
The only other one that I thought was interesting was George O'Hanlon Jr., who plays Pete, because he was in Halloween. According to it, he played Peter Myers. He played Michael Myers' dad. Right at the beginning.
I can't remember what he looks like.
Well, this was the same year as Halloween, wasn't it? 78.
Yeah.
So he looks quite young. So I didn't ever notice he looked particularly young. But according to the internet,
it was a bit dark. To be honest, he doesn't really concentrate on the dad.
He concentrates on Michael.
Yeah.
Michael. What
have
Michael fucking done now? Anyway, that's it. Yes. So that's the
I know. Well, we should also mention, but there is another member of the supporting cast, Victor Bruno.
Yeah. For you, anybody who doesn't know it, he played King Tut in the Batman. He was in a lot.
I forgot about that.
Played King Tut in the Batman.
He's a rotund guy.
He's kind of.
He's very well over the top in his acting. He's very British, even though I think he's American.
He reminds me a bit of kind of like our version. Is kind of like Brian Blessed. He kind of like devours every scene he's in. So yeah, he's quite good.
But I remember. Yeah, that was where I mean. But he was in the Mad Butcher from the 60s as well, I think, if we are talking about horror films, which...
the only other one I noticed was Whatever Happened to Baby Jane he was in as well. Yeah, the films came out as House of Evil and Cry Demon.
But I didn't know House of Evil, but yeah, I just remember seeing the video cover. It's another one of them ones where I thought, as a kid, I saw the video cover and it had a crypt opening up and just said The Evil, which is a really good title.
Yeah, it was quite...
Not for this film. It's not that appropriate for this film, but...
Right. The overarching story is this character called CJ who plans to turn this mansion into some kind of drug rehab centre.
Doctor and wife, they try and do up a dilapidated big house.
Fucking massive house.
Well, yeah, it's alright. With some friends from the university.
There's a mixture of like associates and there is the Felicia in it. She's an ex-drug addict as well. So there's a variety of different characters that get introduced.
But before all that happens, there's a I'll let you go into that.
Well, so this is when the caretaker turns up.
Is it prologue?
Yeah. So there's a bit of spooky 70s music, and then the caretaker, who's obviously caretaker Sam, who's been tasked with cleaning it. He talks to himself a lot, doesn't he? He talks to the house a lot. He says things like "dang" and "never come inside this place before," as opposed to set up the storyline more than anything. And he hears a sound and he goes investigating. He ends up in the basement. He says things like "I'm coming in now." He keeps talking, and then he hears indistinct.
It's good. 5 or 6 minutes, probably longer. Yeah, it's while the titles are going on.
Yeah. The credits are still running.
I'm going to repeat myself. It's the suspense that makes it a bit better. And to be honest, there's been a lot of suspense in this film because it goes once it starts going. I think this film it goes mental.
It goes crazy.
But this bit is like I suppose he had to kill someone near the beginning because not a lot happens for about.
You've told them he died.
Yeah,
he hears some indistinct voices, which kind of draws him into the basement, and he ends up looking inside a boiler.
Furnace.
Because that's where he thinks there's some kids or something, and he thinks that's where the kids will be.
That's where they are now.
And it burns his head. He says it ain't nothing, and with that, my face shall burn off.
That was quite. Well, it wasn't a jump scare, but it happened quite quick because you thought, all right.
Yeah.
And then the burn, whatever they call it, this burn.
Firewalk.
Yeah. Well, he's doing it for quite. I'm thinking, and then he bounces off the wall. I'm thinking.
Was he all right?
Yeah, should put that bloke out now. Where's the director say out in court?
Well, no, I mean, Gus Draconis, he obviously just wanted to get his money's worth, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's very efficient of it.
And
underrated.
So that's the starting point. So we're introduced to the fact that there's something not quite right about this house. And then we switch to Mr. Decker, who's a...
Was it Colonel Decker in the Rambo films? Oh,
no, that's in the A-Team.
Sorry, carry on. You can cut that bit out.
No, that's staying in, no matter what. So Decker's showing the Arnolds around the old mansion for a bit of a viewing. Straight away, I mean, this theme plays throughout the film and it bored me a bit. CJ is very much anti-religion and Caroline is very much quite religious, and hence I think we're led to believe that's why she keeps having these visions and he doesn't see it.
Yeah, all through the film.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind it because all right, she's a bit of a nutter.
Well, no,
he keeps saying, he goes, I don't believe any of that.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time with her constantly trying to convince him and him saying, you're mental. And after a bit, I think he says, I regard organised churches as organised hypocrisy. So straight away we get the idea that he's got no time for any of that. But those belief systems come back to haunt him later in the film, don't they? Because obviously...
Literally haunt him.
I put literally haunt him.
Right.
Obviously he expects the caretaker to be there to greet him, and Sam's nowhere to be seen because he's burnt to a fucking crisp.
All right.
While Decker's showing them round, he's telling them a bit about the person who built it, which is this Vargas guy who kind of, again, that's the ghost, isn't it? We see later on, Vargas.
Yeah.
Old Mr. Vargas built the house, he says. And he also talks about Indians give it wide berth because it's built on sulphur pits and different things and steam pools, and they called it the Valley of the Devils. So he's setting up a bit of a backstory in terms of... But he also mentioned that there's a fumarole. Do you know what a fumarole is?
In mispronunciation of funeral. No, I don't know.
Hello, old Mr. Vargas here. A fumarole is an opening in a planet's crust that emits steam and gases. Fabulous.
Caroline says, it's beautiful and so strangely desolate. So strangely desolate. 200 rooms, it's fucking huge.
200 rooms, is that what they say? It's not got 200 bleeding rooms, unless they're very tiny ones. They only go into about 4 of them.
Hang on. Yeah, well, yeah, you never see all 200. They should have took you around them all. It's at this point that Caroline, when they're being shown round, already Caroline sees a glowing Disney-like apparition.
Well, yeah, it's like a wobbly... It's like... I think it was done practically like they used to, where they just put a bit of glass and they have someone else on camera painted up white, but then you see it. I think that's generally... I thought it was alright. To be honest, I thought it was better than a CGI load of bollocks. It was like a white, wobbly, misty thing, wasn't it?
Look, standard thing for us is we'd rather have those kind of effects than CGI all day long. I did put, though, even the ominous music can't make it look anything other than unalarming. I wasn't quite convinced.
Well, she doesn't, to be honest, she doesn't go, oh my Christ.
Well, she said, well, she's a doctor and she makes the point of saying that she's worked an 18-hour shift, so it must be her imagining it. But, come on, Caroline.
Well, it's only a blobby white thing, so, you know. It's blobby white thing.
There's a hilarious bit where he's talking about how in history there's been lots of noises heard and there's been accidents associated with the house, and then a bit of wood falls on CJ's head, which obviously I just put no. And then they walk out to the front of the house, and there's quite a cool, I thought it was quite a cool looking like gargoyle statue out front. Caroline goes over and reads the plaque on the front. Disturb not he who is herein held in chains. So there's something that kind of relates to
you remember that better
bits
than
later in the story. She reads that looks quite good, I thought, that statue bit. That's it for the initial intro of setting up that bit, because then we switch to the college where we meet Professor Raymond Guy, his name is, where he's teaching a class of, I wrote, he seems to be teaching a class of freaks and oddbods when he was talking to them about it. And then that's where we also meet Laurie, which seems to be his love interest, who's one of his students.
And Raymond's the
tall
there's been
professor.
A few things.
Yes. Yeah, Amityville 2.
What's the actor's name again? Sorry.
Andrew Prine. Yes. So that's again introduced us to those characters, and then it switches back to the house when CJ and Caroline meet Dwight, the caretaker handyman who's helping them to fix it up.
Yeah, it's not the same caretaker that was set alive.
No, he's like he's more like a fix it up.
Yeah, and to be honest, he seems like a ladies' man.
Yeah, he's a randy handyman, I thought.
Yeah.
because every woman he meets, he has to say something like,
Things are looking up.
And
Better and better.
and he keeps making a comment after he meets each woman. So we're introduced to these characters. So we've got Dwight, CJ, Caroline, Ray, Laurie, and then Caroline enters the house and instantly sees a ghost again. And there's a bit where she sees a head carving on the wall, which turns to look at her, which I thought was quite good. I thought that bit was quite good.
Yeah, well, I thought that was because that was reminded me a bit of Evil Dead 2, where the moose's head sort of rotates. Although it's more overt in Evil Dead 2, obviously, but she kind of sees it, but doesn't.
Yeah, it like turns. Yeah, it reminded me a bit of Evil Dead. And again, she goes and tells CJ. She says this house is crazy, and he doesn't believe her for the next hour and 20 minutes. He doesn't believe a shitting word she says, basically.
Because I keep pulling it like that, snapped off in the end and then it put me through the neck.
Then we're introduced to, so we've got that little bit where she sees another weird bit of shit, and then Mary, Pete, Felicia, and Kaiser the dog turn up. Felicia's the ex-junkie, and Pete is the practical joker. I put. He's got that pop out thing, hasn't he? Where it pops out.
Oh yeah, the Peanuts thing.
Yeah, and they basically say, "Oh, Pete, you're a div.
I was going to say the C word then.
You're a cunt. Yeah.
You're an absolute twat."
You're right. They're all having a bit of a meeting in the house, and Kaiser the dog, because dogs sense shit, don't they?
They roll in it.
They also roll it, sniff it, and sometimes even
Eat
it. He trots off because he hears something, or he has a sense. Kaiser senses something, and he trots off down into the basement and starts digging, and he uncovers a trapdoor. He uncovers.
Oh yeah, he digs it up a bit, doesn't he?
This is the bit I was confused about with this.
Let me try and help you out.
Right, you explain to me what made Kaiser go down into the back, because the demon's not got out yet. And,
sense, innit?
And Vargas wouldn't have done that because he don't want the trapdoor uncovering. So what made the dog
Maybe
go down?
it's devil dog.
What? So he's a baddie?
I don't fucking know.
Up yours. So he's revealed a bit of this trapdoor, and they all run down because they hear. Okay, yeah. So Kaiser's gone down into the basement, and he ends up uncovering this trapdoor, and then he howls, and they all run down there, and then for some reason he's on top of the boiler, and he jumps down at Mary with his fangs. What do you think of the dog when he was looking savage?
Looked like someone had asked him to have some chocolate. I don't know. You know when they say smile now?
Yeah.
And they're not smiling. Dogs don't smile.
You know how with like chimps in the 70s in those adverts,
Peanut butter.
yeah, they used to put peanut butter. It looked like they'd done that to him.
You know what they used to say about dogs to make them show the fangs? Elastic bands around the balls.
Well,
I mean, I'd show my fangs if someone put elastic bands around my balls.
but would you be on a boiler? Right. Okay.
Probably best leave it there, aren't we?
So then Caroline continues to voice her
And it's
concerns about the house, and nobody listens again.
No, all it is at the moment is the dog being mental.
Well, then there's the bit where Caroline sees the ghost again, and the ghost leads her to the diary of Emilio Vargas, which is in a bureau. And
Bureau?
A bureau. And a dust-covered
Sideboard.
diary. It's about the size of her head. It's quite a big book, innit?
Yeah.
And she takes it. But that was quite a good bit, because the bureau then slammed shut. And that was about one of the most shocking bits.
Maybe I should watch these twice like you do. I mean, I watch everything once and just pull out the best bits.
That was the best bit,
Oh.
just so you know. Oh, I put, with the bureau cracking closed, which you didn't even notice.
Sorry.
I said, clever use of loud noises, like the lightning cracking and the bureau shutting, was effectively used to shake the viewer awake.
It's quite a short film.
Yeah, no.
It's only about 15 minutes.
It's quite punchy. It gets to the point, doesn't it? Half an hour in, and then Caroline's seen another. Because there's bits of conversation between the characters, but then it switches again to Caroline. It focuses on her a lot because she's the one that's seeing these visions. The fire lights itself, and then she sees some image of a cross being forged in the
Yes, I do very
Yes,
remember
yes.
that.
Which again is key because this cross bit is quite key to the storyline. And again, I just made a note that she's obviously seeing this because she's religious and he isn't.
She's more attuned.
Yes. Keep going. When they do open the diary, it's blank except for a few pages.
Drawings of cock and balls, I believe.
Whatever strong and noble soul would set the holy seal upon the gate, he'll guard that place in life and death till time is no more, that no man will set loose the beast within. She thinks they are being warned to get out of the house, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
After
to
all
be honest, now it's written down literally in black and white, alongside cock and balls. You can't disagree.
Absolutely. The storm continues to rage. To be honest, the storm rages all the way through the film.
Yeah, because it kind of traps them there. It's a bit, there's a bit like, this is a bit where it reminded me of Burnt Offerings. Have you ever seen that with Oliver Reed?
Burnt
I
Offerings.
I might need to watch it, yeah. But it like, the house traps them. This family.
Yeah.
And they just can't get out of it.
Yeah. I mean, Victor Bruno traps them, really, in this one. However, he elicits the help of the house.
Yeah, I mean, that's not... I mean, the last 10 minutes, Jesus Christ.
It's garbage. Yeah, we switch to two of the other characters, Felicia and Laurie, I think it is. And actually, I like this line because Laurie says, this is going to be one hellacious storm before it's done. Hellacious. Fucking hellacious.
I think it is.
Hellacious. I liked it.
Hell-like.
Hell-like, yes. Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
This is the funny bit as well, where they then open a door and Pete's playing one of his pranks where he's hanging.
You don't think it is at all, though, do you, when you first see it? He's just sort of opened the door and there's two women and he's just hanging there. And if it's a joke now, which we probably think it is.
Yeah, I kind of thought.
And it carries on and then he goes, hey, and then he goes, get me down.
Yeah, and they're leaving. And, I mean, first of all, fucking hell, Pete, all that effort. I wrote that.
I know, and he's really high up. But yeah, hanging himself, joke. I thought it was good because loads of effort, 10 out of 10 for effort.
And they're leaving there to hang.
And they're leaving there to hang, and they're scared out of their fucking life because there's two women opening the door. I mean, he had to count on them opening the door as well, so he's done a lot of groundwork.
I mean, a lot of it was set up by Gus Triconis, wasn't it? 35 minutes in.
He puts a lot of effort. He's very, very efficient.
It's very efficient and very underrated. Underrated. 35 minutes in the film, and at that point I noticed how incredibly high Professor Ray's trousers were. I just put a note, what neck size are them trousers?
Well, that's 78 for you. But then it gets good.
From the high trousers onwards, I think
the
point in which
we've massively
ramps up the tension.
We've massively digressed from
Pete's
hanging himself as a joke
and the neck size of Ray's trousers. Caroline asks the professor as well, tries to get his opinion on ghosts and shit like that. Then Mary says, if you were a dog, where would you go? To Felicia. And Felicia says, are you trying to be funny, lady? I just hope Pete doesn't play a trick on the wrong dude and end up spending the rest of his life trying to yank his head out of his hind end. And then they find a dumbwaiter, and when it pops open, out rolls the caretaker.
It is a dumbwaiter. Yeah, because he goes, oh, look at this old dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
And pull it open, and I said it's the caretaker. He's all burnt up, even dead face. Like at the first one, how it's a bit plasticine.
I thought he looked quite cool. Yeah. It was all charred. He looked quite
to be honest, he's cool now. He was red hot. Yeah, keep that fucker in. And then I was surprised they brought back the caretaker. Oh, there's a caretaker. Here he is. And also, I thought the way there's a shot where they both look at him because they're looking down at him, and they both go, I'm doing it physically now, but obviously it doesn't work. Just look for images for the evil, and it'll come up with two women looking down.
That shot appears quite a lot in it, doesn't it? On the internet, there's lots of...
Yeah, and it's really good. There's a few good shots. It's a well-made film.
He's done a good job, hasn't he? We then switch to CJ in the basement trying to light the boiler.
CJ and the bear.
CJ and the bear. Why did I write... Oh, interestingly enough,
It won't be.
No, it will be. Listen, Mary Louise Weller, who plays Laurie, was also in BJ and the Bear.
Oh, well, then it is. And I got it wrong. It wasn't CJ.
No, it's
then, was
BJ.
it?
Which is even funnier, really.
Well,
isn't
yeah.
it?
I mean, if it did,
I'll
I'll tell you what, it would have been Grizzly.
Cock gobble. He's in the basement trying to light the boiler. This bit I'm mentioning because it's quite important, because at this point he discovers where the dog's been digging, and it's revealed a portion of the trapdoor. So I just put it's pretty much CJ's fault, because then he decides to open the trapdoor to hell and remove the...
Is this when the whole house shakes as well and everyone starts doing Star Trek?
I put then we have to suspend our disbelief as the house allegedly starts rocking and all the actors dramatically throw themselves around pretending to be shook. It's a load of old balls. And no, I did quite like it. I did quite like it. I said at 39 minutes and 19 seconds, the boys in the kitchen are particularly bad at looking like their body movement is out of their control. They did look really bad at it.
To be honest, I was just surprised.
39 minutes and 19 seconds exactly.
I was just surprised they went that particular way with it, because you think, oh, right, okay, they've opened it up, but then they've done that old school. I don't think you don't see it in modern films where suddenly everything starts shaking and people start going,
How do they do it now?
I don't think they bother, because it's shit. but I quite liked it, and then you see what I put, all kicks off.
Well, it does, yes. I mean, from this point onwards, it's
In
balls
a way,
to the wall
well, in a
terror.
way, it does. Well, no, it's just like an enjoyable horror film. Prior to that, it was more suspenseful, but it was more like a ghost story than a slasher. This goes all over the fucking place.
Dwight turns up. I think he deserves a mention because he rocks up and he's quite crap at throwing himself around as well. But then some cables fall down from the ceiling, wrap round him, and then he has to also act like he's being electrocuted.
But this is what I mean. Crucifix thing on the floor where the dog's digging.
He disturbs the demon.
The whole house starts shaking. Cables come down. Electrocute.
I drew a evil house, and I put. At this point, the house locks everything down. No one's getting out or in. They all run down to the front door, and CJ and the Professor are trying to break down the front door, and I wrote powerful stuff, because their effort to try and kick against the door is pitiful. But then Pete runs up, and he says, I want out.
Yeah, he starts hitting the window,
Did you like the sound effect when it threw him back?
Yeah, and I thought, I thought it might just he threw himself backwards in a crappy way.
Yeah, no, it properly.
Fucking hell. There's a wire pulling him like halfway across the bleeding building.
But I quite liked it because it was like him getting thrown back.
But this is all in about 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, it cranks it up instantly, because then they're trying to throw tables through windows, and that doesn't go very well. Everybody's getting hysterical. Laurie starts getting hysterical, and the Professor has to start. Professor Ray slaps her, and then somebody mentions, I think it's Caroline mentions, the key to all of this is in the diary. Right, so then...
Is this the Felicia bit?
Yeah, so...
this was a surprise to me.
Well, Felicia's recovering from being shaken around by the house. She is on her own in a room with the door closed, and the door opens, and the squeaking noise of the door was comical. I really like this bit where she was being tormented and she was being dragged around.
Well, it sounds like just pulling around. It literally, she's not doing it herself. There's wires that you kind of see a little bit later on. You don't have to look for it.
She's doing no movement. She's just been pulled around the
room.
room.
Properly dragged, but not like slowly either.
I mean, we've got to say that then the gratuitous bit is when Demon pulls her clothes off down to bra and knickers. I actually put here, and I said...
Is it going to come off?
I said... And then her clothes fall off, and I thought that was just a bit... It was just unnecessary. I kind of thought that ruined it a bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
But if it had gone down to bare arse, as it's called in the trade, then it would have been shy. At least it stopped at bra and knickers.
So you're saying in the film industry, when they get naked, they're saying, okay, bare arse time. Okay.
But no, I thought it was good, and I was kind of okay that they started ripping her clothes off, because that surprised me as well. But But it was just that whole scene was very good. How she gets dragged around. And
Yeah,
it's very
I thought
practical.
it was really good. So they go run up to Felicia and kind of console her. The storm continues to rage, and then BJ and the bear, CJ and Pete notice that there's a door open leading up to the roof, and CJ's got this great idea that they're going to drop some cable over the edge and climb
it's
down.
A rope. It's not a cable.
Well, I think it is a cable because it ends up electrocuting Pete, doesn't it?
But it sort of sets on fire though, doesn't it?
Oh, right,
I think
okay.
So they go up to the roof, and I thought it was a rope, but maybe it was a cable.
So the door opens, leading to the roof. They're there. CJ comes up with his brainwave, and Pete insists he climbs down. And Pete climbs down very, very quickly to his death, and he starts burning halfway down.
Well, yeah, because what is it? Is it the lightning hits it, or
It's pretty much just horrifying.
I wouldn't be like
again,
to be hanging
CJ's
from a
idea.
rope on fire, really.
CJ's crap idea. It's his fault again. He
does try and drag the burning body back up a little bit, and then goes.
He probably lifts it. He
probably
gets
just drop it and go run off. Because it ain't raining as well. I don't.
Whilst CJ and Carol are off chatting about this idea of, I didn't get this bit. Somebody who's an engineer or scientist can explain this. They were doing this idea to create some kind of energy field to bend the window bars by
putting
pumping some.
Oh yeah, I zoned that out. I thought they were just trying to melt it or something. I don't fucking know.
And actually,
so they're putting they're
clamping it and trying to feed some juice through it to try and bend.
What's it called when you jump start a car?
Yeah, they've got like jump leads.
Yeah.
They're trying to put some fucking. It's crap
anyway. Yeah.
And somebody actually says directly to him at one point, CJ, that's not going to work, and it didn't.
But then CJ goes downstairs and does something, doesn't he?
Well, then. This is what makes it a horror film, because this is the bit where Ray's trying to cut through the door with a circular saw, and he cuts through his hand, doesn't he?
But it comes out fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it was quite shocking because compared to the
it's a TV movie.
Yeah. And then it's got that bit where he saws through his hand, which I thought was quite good.
I don't rewind a lot or whatever it's called now. Yeah, it's just rewinding it. But I thought, what happened there?
Because you not believe your art?
Well, no, because he doesn't do it by accident though. He does it on purpose as well, doesn't he?
I got the feeling that he was possessed.
Yeah, he's sort of trying to cut through the door, and then he just puts his hand down. And you go, well, they're not going to show this.
Yeah,
and they fucking do. Yeah. and it's I don't say realistic, but it's quite gruesome.
Well, I mean, it shows it quickly, and it kind of looks good. I thought it was good effect. Mary runs to get some medical supplies because obviously Ray's bleeding, and when she opens the cupboard, he's a bleeding idiot. And when she opens the cupboard, Kaiser's there again with his teeth bared, with an elastic band around his balls, and he kind of jumps down at Mary.
Does he rip her neck out?
You don't really see that bit, but when she dies, she's got kind of, it looks like a neck. The only bit, and I read this on the internet, was when the dog jumps down, when it chases her down the corridor. The sound effect is the sound effect taken from a TIE fighter. It even says that in the trivia notes. I didn't even notice.
Did you
the
rewind
first
it
time.
and listen to it?
I didn't notice it, but when I watched it the second time, yeah, you can hear there's like a
you
sound
mean
effect.
Out of Star Wars?
Yeah. The dog and her fall over a railing and
oh yeah, they go down the middle bit. Another good.
Two dummies crash down to their death.
Yeah.
Caroline finds the bodies and she can hear demons laughing, and then she passes out for some reason. The storm continues to rage, and then they have this kind of scenes where they're having conversations trying to understand what's actually happening, and then they continue with this crazy idea to pump power through the window bars. Right, and then we come to
the best bit.
Hang on.
There is no fucking lead up to this bit.
Caroline sees the ghost. Actually, the ghost, we see the ghost really clearly now.
Oh, is that when she's sitting at the fire?
And he's like all white. I thought he looked really good then. And Vargas points to the cross, which was took from the pit.
Yeah, it was like a lock for the pit.
to indicate there's some significance to it. And then he leads her into the big hall where all the other characters are gathered round Mary's
this
body.
Doesn't make any fucking
No,
sense.
Look.
But it's Ace.
Oh my god.
Because they're like the round a table, like are they chanting or just
it's
discussing
kind of
something?
it's a bit. It's like almost like she's having a hallucination, but she's not. So I thought it was like a dream sequence at first.
It isn't, is it?
No, and she won the bit that made me particularly laugh about it. First of all, Professor Ray's kissing Mary's body on the lips. That's weird.
Yeah.
And so the camera follows Caroline as she enters the hall, and all the while, CJ's got his back.
I wish we could show our drawings though.
CJ, but it's the way that until the last moment, Crenna. I'm going to in this scene. I think he insisted on playing this scene the way it was played. I think he insisted on the makeup. I think he insisted on everything. So Crenna keeps his back to the camera until the very last moment. So there's some dramatic reveal to it. Do you want to explain what?
It's fucking Ace. It's fucking Ace. I mean, I don't know. There's no way to explain it.
It doesn't. I think to explain the actual reason why it's happening would do it a disservice.
If there's no reason, I mean, like you say, you think it's a dream sequence, but you've seen this ghost wandered off into the main hall. Krenner's got back in his army jacket as well. You notice.
He's got his Rambo jacket on.
Anyway, he rotates, and I don't know what the makeup is. It's not. I think they're trying to make him look evil, but he's got very bushy eyebrows. They've just bushed him out a bit because he had a little bit of a beard.
Why?
But his eyebrows are very bushy. But then they put like black bits under his eyes, I think, or made him look a bit monkeyish. I don't know.
I noticed.
And his hair's a bit wizened. That's not a right thing, but I don't fucking know.
He's got wizard's hair. Caroline sees CJ and says, "Oh." She holds up the cross, and instantly all the characters properly overact and collapse. But
he don't, does he?
Well, no, he gets dragged across the floor, doesn't he?
Yeah, another good practical effect. He's like dragged backwards.
I put Crenna gets dragged across the floor along with his carry on screaming eyebrows.
It's mental. It's a mental bit.
And then he he
I've
ends up at the mirror and
he
shouts. What does he shout?
Right. I'll act it out. God help me! Help me! That's good. I mean, that's too loud, isn't it? Do you want me to do it quieter?
No, I think that's perfect.
But it's the way he does it. He's got both fists up, shaking them, going, God help me, and he's looking into a mirror that then breaks on the second help me. It is fantastic cinema.
Fucking
very efficient and underrated. I'll give you that. But it was mental. I liked it because it was mental. And as a kid, I probably would have thought that was a bit scary. As an adult, I think it's fucking stupid. but in a good way.
You know
what I mean? Can you imagine watching that as like a young kid? It would have been ace.
I don't know whether I would have still thought.
I think you're.
I think maybe I would have thought. God help me!
No, it's the second help me that made me laugh.
God help me!
Help me!
So good.
Anyway.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hell beneath a basement grave, restless spirit souls not saved. The demon hadn't planned to face Richard Crenner's eyebrows. Faith and acting truly tested, tit-high trousers dark molested, Rambo's bum jump rarely bested, Richard Crenner's eyebrows. Richard Crenner's eyebrows.
CJ, more conversation. CJ doesn't believe. Although he does say here, I thought he modestly says, I can't believe I'm worth all this. Because we're led to believe that the actual demon's after him. Because of his... Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I got.
He's a good
his
guy.
thinkings in terms of... I don't...
Oh,
well,
yeah,
for a start, he's not into religion as well. So
maybe they're trying to make him religious, and because he's a good man, even though he's not religious.
Oh, that's fabulously deep.
It's bullshit. Anyway, what I put down more importantly is in the film. Where do all the rest of the fuckers go?
I think they just recover and wander off.
Well, yeah, but you don't. There's like because they're all transfixed or whatever, and it's not a dream. So she just sits down with them and she goes, "Oh yeah, I don't know where they've gone."
Right, so this is just before where they're talking about. This is kind of key. They're
it's
talking about
everything's fucking happening.
They're talking about the diary and the fact that there's some information in there, and then that bursts into flames, and then we've got this bit where Laurie's with the cable hooking it up,
and one of them has to run back because
she gets dragged off or something.
Yeah, she gets dragged into the dark.
Yeah, she gets dragged off into the darkness. He runs in, he gets pushed back out again, and then he goes off.
And then he goes back.
He goes back to check on Felicia, what she's doing, and this is when she gets shocked by Mary sitting up.
Which I thought was very good, because it's in the forefront, which you think...
Yeah, and she's behind.
Yeah, suddenly a dead body... Suddenly sits up in the foreground. I'm trying to think what that's from. Evil Dead?
Well, no, it's from The Evil. 1978, Guy Draconis is what.
Yeah, but in The Evil, you know when she sits up in The Evil and she's in the foreground.
You're right. Yes.
So maybe he nicked a lot from that.
Or maybe Evil Dead. When did that come out?
Actually, no, after 80.
Yeah,
there's a bit with the moose head.
So Felicia gets shocked and leans on the rail, and she gets animated. She gets animated for a bit.
Yeah, I can forgive that, and I quite liked it as well. A bit of white drawing around her, that's fine. As
you've already said a few times, it's all kicking off now because then Ray runs and spots the window open and he jumps out. I like this bit.
Fucking hell.
So he's free.
He's out.
He's free, isn't he?
And yeah, you think, now what could happen now? Maybe that gargoyle we saw earlier would drop on his head or something. Or...
Well, I expected that to happen. I thought the gargoyle might drop on his head.
I was expecting lightning or something like that. But oh no, the weirdest fucking thing you can imagine. I'll let you explain it.
Well, essentially, he runs out and he starts to sink into the ground. He stands on the earth and he gets strung down.
Another good effect.
Yeah, I mean, that was him. I would have liked to do that.
But it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he went under. That was it. I like that bit.
It's a weird film.
We're about an hour and a quarter in, so we've got about 10-15 minutes. So this is where
it's a short film.
I would say this is the kind of final showdown.
Well, this is where it goes fucking mental.
The ghost Vargas enters Caroline.
Oh yeah, I've written possessed, and then I don't elaborated for some reason. She starts talking, and
it kind of, in an effort to try and explain bits, it says, "I sacrificed the caretaker to force you away," and then again it draws their attention to the fact that the cross, which we probably knew all the way along it, is the key that they keep talking about. Again, as they try and make their way back down to the basement, there's lots of wind blowing and them kind of struggling to get down to the basement again, them being pushed.
I love it.
Pushed. Well, there's no practical effects there. There literally is. They're shaking the camera a bit, and the people are pretending they are equally being shot.
Again, for some sad reason, I was thinking, how did they do that? You know, the bit where we couldn't open the door. I was thinking, how did they do that?
They just pretended not to be able to open the door. They try to close the pit, then Caroline falls in and he jumps in after her.
To be honest, that fucking annoyed me. I think of all the fucking things. Shut the door, don't fall down the bleeding pit.
Well, not only do they do that, then she proceeds to lose the fucking cross thing as well.
Yeah, she loses the cross, and then not only that, but Krenner goes, I'll jump in as well.
Well, he jumps in after.
I didn't think he was going to shut the door. That would have been one ending.
I thought that at the end when they were trying to escape, she might have potentially shut it and left him down there. But anyway, so he wanders off to try and find the cross.
Let's say right now, this film doesn't do what you think it's going to do at all, I don't think.
No, I expected the ending slightly different, but...
I don't think you expected this.
He wanders off, eventually...
Oh, this is in the pit, by the way.
Yeah, he's kind of in the pit.
Which is like a white maze. It's like a basement.
Near the centre of the earth.
Yeah,
He
it's a bit like
wanders-
the Matrix. This bit, because it's all white things,
Are you
and there's a
fucking
bloke in a
kidding
chair
me?
with a beard,
I'm,
and it made as
no.
much fucking sense.
This was far more enjoyable than Matrix.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Who's listening there?
Yeah, CJ wanders off and eventually finds himself face to face with the Devil Demon. I don't know if he was meant to
Devil
be
Demon?
The Devil
Evil Knievel.
He finds himself
Evil Knievel sitting there.
face to face
With
with
Evil
the Devil Demon, Victor
Bruno doing his.
looking smart in a white suit. Has to be said.
He
Looked pretty
does
good.
what? Yeah, I mean, I think they had him for 2 days because first day he's combed his hair, second day it's all over the place, and then the last day they put a load of makeup on it. But you'll notice continuity.
Continuity
Yeah, it's
issues.
terrible. Maybe not.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
cut-
carry on. He's ace. in
I'm
it
going to
as well.
cut it out, but apparently his white suit cost $1,000.
Fucking hell.
He just
Keep
looked
it
really
in.
smart.
Keep it in.
Get him. Get
It's
to
one fucking interesting thing. Fucking
He gets inside CJ's head. At one point, he says, "You defy me, you insignificant speck of vomit."
I thought, you know something? The dialogue here,
Yeah,
in comparison to some of the films we
Yeah,
have been fucking
quite-
it's really good.
quite good actually.
Yeah.
I thought that's why I wrote that. I thought it was good. CJ starts to collapse because his head's going to explode. It seems like, and Caroline runs in.
It's a bit of a crappy act. She just sort of runs at him and stabs him with a crucifix, and you go, but does he turn into a demon just before
Actually,
then?
yes. I thought that those like makeup. At one point, he kind of becomes a proper demon.
Yeah.
Still in his suit, but he becomes a
Yeah,
proper
but they
demon.
didn't, they didn't overdo it, I thought. Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah. So I thought it was alright. And
Alright.
and the film then draws to a close as they escape from the pit.
Yeah, but you
And-
don't know. I wasn't sure. I thought, they're just going to die down the pit. Because then they do the shaking of the camera and trying to get out of the pit.
Well,
That goes on a bit.
I didn't know whether CJ might, when he lifted her
Yeah.
up, I didn't know whether he was just
I
going to
thought he
say,
was gonna go,
leave,
yeah.
leave me, but she, like, they do both escape.
And then they just get out the front and then...
I mean, bear in mind, he gets away scot-free, and all of it was
Yeah, everyone
ultimately his fucking fault.
Oh, yeah, so he probably should have died.
He's an absolute
But
bastard.
they get outside, and this is, Adam, we'll both agree on this because you said it before. They get outside, the end.
Oh,
Finish the fucking
no,
film.
actually, you're not
What?
quite right.
Hey, should I fast forward it?
Now, listen to this. As they get outside the house, who's standing in the window giving him a thumbs up but Vargas? They look up back at the house when they're outside,
hang on.
and he's there going, "Alright, alright,
Was it?
well done."
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't work out whether he was
Wasn't a
sticking his
thumbs up. No,
thumbs
he's
up
waving like it's like
or giving him the finger. Oh,
He was waving, seeing Toronto.
He wasn't waving. Where he goes, mate. See ya. He was saying goodbye, Godspeed, farewell.
Cooey.
Well, I put happy ending, except for all the rest that died.
The end.
There you go.
The end.
Let's review the film. Mark it out of 10. Not get to the point. Let's review the film.
I enjoyed it. I wished it had been a bit more of a horror film. It felt sometimes like it was It felt sometimes like it was a bit of a Disney film, kind of a Saturday morning film. But the bits, there was quite a lot of good bits in it, I thought. So I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. It was good fun. Not something I'm going to revisit that often, but it was entertaining. The ending was fucking... There's bits of it, but to be honest, I would give the film an extra 3 or 4 marks just for Krenner's eyebrows. In itself, I'm going to give it a 7. It's good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just put entertaining. I gave it 6.5 actually, so I've given it less than you, and I probably enjoyed it more.
No,
than you.
I'm always generous on that. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
To be honest, if you were thinking about watching, if you've listened to this for whatever fucking reason, before you've watched it, then watch it because it's well worth watching. I mean, you'll be entertained whether you like it or not. It's not boring. Definitely not boring.
It isn't boring.
I've seen some boring, more gory horror films, a lot more boring than this. And this reminds me of like, well, it is old school and it is a bit TV movie-ish at points, except for the hand bit, but otherwise it's really good. So 6.5.
Yeah, I was very generous, wasn't I, in the end?
So,
It was good fun. The thing is, with the eyebrows, you can't not enjoy it. You can't.
Cool.
It's impossible to enjoy. No, it's impossible.
I mean,
it's impossible not to
I only
enjoy.
watched it once, and I would like to watch it again, really drunk, with a few people that have never watched it before. That's it, that type of film. It's probably, I think it's exactly what you just said. It's very efficient, and I think it's an underrated film that probably more people should watch. Watch it. It's worth watching.